Last class, what we saw different ways we can do switching using transistor. Hope you all remember that, because these things will be used today also. In order to drive stepper motor, we also need to do switching a bit. And then hope you also remember what is PWM. We'll show the relevant slides as when required, so it should not be a problem. Okay, so today we'll move on to stepper motors. So hope you all have seen most of these type of stepper motor which is shown in this figure. Okay, I'll show you one by one what exactly are these. Are they all same? They look like same. They may have different number of wires which is coming out of it. Okay, different number of wires. By looking at them, can you know what type of stepper motor is this, how we can drive it, number of wires that are there, they require different types of driver, where it is used actually. So those things will be covered, where it is used, how it is used. Okay, so let's move on. So what exactly is the stepper motor? Stepper, it runs in step. Okay, it is not a continuous. If at all you have seen a DC motor earlier, so what you must have felt, if you rotate the shaft, if you rotate the shaft by holding the armature, if you can turn it, you won't feel any pulses. Okay, you will directly you are able to move it very smoothly from starting till the one complete revolution. But that is not in case of stepper motor. You may feel a little bit of jerk while you turn. Okay, why is it so? They are internally differently connected and constructed. So armature rotates incrementally in equal steps. These motors cannot run continuous. Okay, for with a special arrangement it may be run continuous, but actually they are not meant to run that way. Okay, so they rotate incrementally in equal steps in response to programmed input pulse train. They don't need a constant voltage and at its terminal, rather it needs some sort of pulses, high and low pulses in different wires. Let us say if it has 4 wires, all 4 of them will have different pulses of 0 to maximum voltage which is required to drive this type of motor. So that type of pulses are driving it. Changing the order of pulse sequence changes the direction of rotation. Okay, direction of rotation is not dependent on the polarity of the voltage that is applied. Rather, same polarity can be reversed. Same polarity, the sequence, if it is reversed, the direction of the motor can be changed. The sequence of pulses, they govern the direction of rotation. So that is how it is little different in the way they are made to run using the driver. Again, there are switching, so it requires switching transistors. So let me just show you a slide which is switching transistor. So it was something like this. If you put in voltage somewhere over here, if you put in voltage at the input of this transistor base, the collector side of voltage goes drain to the earthing. Okay, it goes downward. Okay, so immediately you see what you see, an output that is coming out as 0. VO becomes 0 if V in becomes the control voltage. Normally it is 5 volt in case of TTL, as we have seen in motor driving H bridges also. So these are not very different. It is exactly the similar switches. This also can be IRF switches, MOSFET switches, not necessarily transistor switch all the time. This also can be a relay, but yes, relay, because they are inductive in nature, they have coils in between. So they have some residual magnetism which doesn't allow it to switch it very frequently. So that is why if you are using relays to drive such motors, yes, you cannot do switching very fast. So in order to do fast switching, there are special driver circuits which are used to do so. Okay, so as simple as that. So you can just switch using transistor, or you can switch using MOSFET, you can switch using relay. So switching is all the same. it is not very different over here. So this is what is about switching transistor. And then hope you also remember H bridge. H bridge for clockwise, anti-clockwise. Got it? So you can do clockwise and anti-clockwise motion. Current flows through two different directions through the motor. This made us reverse the direction of DC motor by changing the polarity. So this is quite simple. With the same input voltage applied in the same direction, you can have motor with a different polarity and different direction the motor will rotate. So this was there in case of DC motor. This time instead of motor you have one of the coil where we want to reverse the polarity. So that is where it will be used once again. Okay. So this is what is H bridge you have seen. So I'll switch it off now, and then coming to next. Okay, these inputs are digitally controlled. Digitally controlled means uh, this transistor, although the V output voltage can go maximum up to VCC, that is the collector input voltage. Okay, that is what is the actual voltage which is required to drive the motor. But what is the current control voltage? That is 0 to 5 volt, that comes at the V in of this transistor switch. And where from it comes? It comes from the digitally controlled circuit. Digitally controlled circuit, it can be a microcontroller, it can be a PLC, it can be many other sources like a PC output through Arduino or something like that. Okay, so those can be digitally controlled output. They actually drive these transistors, and transistors drive the motor, okay, or the coil to be more specific. They are digitally controlled, which do not require any digital to analog conversion to do position control when connected to a computer control system. These motors are widely used in open control application. Open loop control. What is open loop control? You know, if at all I will apply some pulse sequence to this motor, okay, you will see a definite angle which is achieved by this motor. It rotates by a small angle which is given in this uh, data sheet of this, or in the label it is written, or you can just run it and see it. Okay, so you already know that if at all a single pulse is given, it will go to a specific position. So position control, you don't need to do a feedback based control. Yes, your load should be very much deterministic in nature, means you should know, yes, this much of load is going to come to my actuator. Okay, if you already know the load, you have decided, okay, this motor can run at much higher torque rating as compared to my requirement, then yes, it will never slip. And if I command it to go there, it will go there, because the torque generated by motor is quite good enough to tackle that much of load. Okay, so you already know the angle, so you are happy without a feedback. So these motors are normally like that. Okay, these motors are used in open loop control application when load is predefined and do not require any feedback system. That is the reason they are very simple in nature. Okay, the system which drives this type of application means that is very simple, because there is no feedback circuitry in that. Okay. Okay, so this control circuitry, however, there are four number of wires, not as simple as a DC motor which has just two number of wires. So controlling four wires with different sequence of pulses is difficult, and that is why the circuit which drives this motor is itself is difficult. Okay, it itself is little complex. Okay, although it doesn't have any feedback system, you may have a feedback system also to be doubly sure that yes, it has reached. If at all you expect any unplanned load that can come from outside. Okay, so if that is the case, you can have a feedback, but that normally is not required in case of this type of motor. It's still inexpensive due to absence of feedback system. Okay, so it has a holding torque. One thing is very good about this type of motor is, in case of DC motor, what you saw, in case of DC motor, as long as you supply current, it has a torque, it keeps on rotating. Okay, if it is not rotating, it is generating a zero torque. That means you are not applying any voltage or current over here. That means zero torque. So it cannot apply brake of its own. It doesn't have any holding torque. It cannot be in its place. If you switch it off, your arm will fall down. Okay, if you have connected even with a geared motor, if you have put a arm at on this link, okay, at this joint, so due to its own weight, that arm can fall down because it doesn't have any braking torque. But in case of stepper motor, if at all it is stopped also, it is not running, but there is some magnetic field in the stator coils and armature is holded in its place. Okay, armature is holded in its place. So that is the beauty of this type of motor. Even when it is not moving, it is stand still, it can hold that link which is connected to it in its place. Okay, but yes, because it moves stepwise, tuck 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 and so on and so forth, so it goes one by one, so you feel the jerk, you feel the jerk while it is in motion. Let us say however small it is, there are motor which can have very small step size, right, to 1.2 degree or something, even less nowadays. So each step will move by 1.2 degrees. Okay, but if the link is very long, 1.2 degree at the joint will create a significant motion at the tip of that link. Got it? If it is a serial robot, it can get accumulated later on and you will see a huge difference between first and the second step. Okay, so that is the problem with this. But yes, with the gear reduction, if you have a reducing gear over here, let us say you have fitted a gearbox as big as this is something around 1 by 100 times reduction. So if it is 1.2 degree per step, so it becomes 1.2 by 100 per step. Okay, for with each step it will rotate by 1.2 by 100 degrees, so it becomes very small. So that is how a stepper motor with a gearbox are very precise. Stepper motors are normally having little less torque, so having a gearbox is always advisable because you need more torque normally to run quite a lot of load which is normally present in robotics and automation requirement. Okay, so applications, as you see, these are some of the common applications in printer. In printer, fax machine, scan, copy, print, fax, scan, copy. So nowadays all comes together. That machine has this type of motor. I'll ask you to do an experiment by which you will come to know, yes, there is some, doing some trials on this printer, you will come to know, yes, there is a stepper motor which is sitting inside. Okay, so first of all, you can intentionally make the paper jam. If paper is jammed or due to any reason, if you stop the printer in its place, paper gets stuck. Okay, in order to take out the paper, what you are supposed to do, you need to switch off the printer, then gradually you can pull that paper out. As long as um, printer is on, you cannot pull that paper. Why is that happening? Because paper has got stuck, and wherever it has stuck, the motor has stopped. Motor has stopped running, but it has not de-energized. So it is holding in its place. So it is holding in its place. As soon as you switch it off, it becomes free and you can pull it out. So that is the reason it has holding torque. You have proven this way. And as soon as you start your printer, what you might have observed, your head goes to a homing position. Even in a dot matrix printer or inkjet printer, you start it, your head goes to the one side of the printer. That is the position which is well known to the motor, because they are incremental in nature. They never know where it is. These type of motor, they don't have a feedback. they never know where it is. Each sequence will turn it by 1.5 degree if it is 1.5 degree per step. But where is 0? It never knows. Where is the starting frame? So what it does, it keep on moving till the head comes to one of the end of the printer. It has a limit switch over there. It says yes, now it is 0. Now you start counting 1.5 degree, 1.5 degree, and it gradually can locate anywhere on the paper, anywhere on the paper. So that is another proof. Yes, it has a stepper motor which is running in open loop. There are many experiments that you can do to prove there are stepper motors which are running these machines. Smaller robotic arms. I have shown you earlier also one of the robotic arm which is sitting next to me. I'll show you once again. If I okay, this is a robot which you see is fitted with a stepper motor. So this is what is a stepper motor. It has different stepper motor over here and even at the other side of it. So you see it has a stepper motor. Got it? So this is a very good application where you see stepper motors. Okay. Okay. So that is a small robotic arm where you find stepper motors, and where CNC machines. CNC machines they also have feedback even with stepper motors. They are used in that this type of machines. Okay, in medical imagery devices. What are medical imagery devices? CT scan machine, I think MRI scan, these all machines, they have stepper motors which are there inside, which can precisely locate the magnetic field. Printing press, it is there. Textile machine, 3D printers. If you have seen 3D printer well, you must have observed you have a similar kind of actuators which are stepper motors. Okay, in small robots and gaming machines, yes, it is there. Okay, so there it finds a lot of place where it can fit in, and robot is where we are more focused now. So yes, this also is of different types. These type of motor is also of different type. It can be a permanent magnet type. This also can have field coils which are not permanent magnets. They are rather they are also having coils, right? So that is also there. Even hybrid synchronous machines can also be there. So forget about them now. Okay, different types. Rather we'll now focus on how to drive this type of motor. Given a type of motor now, how will you drive this one? Okay. Okay, coming to that next. So let us say you have a motor. What you can see here, this one, what is this? This is nothing but a transistor switch. If you put this base as high, if you put 1 over here or 5 volt, the driving voltage over here, this gate is open. It allows the voltage which is applied from the top. This is the driving voltage of the stepper motor. If at all you switch it on, this is on, it allows current to flow. If you switch this one on, A bar, B and B bar. So you have 4 switches. How they are arranged, you will see one of the coil, you just follow one of them. Let us say I am following A, okay, just follow my cursor. It goes from here, here. It is wound on this particular pole. It goes to this another one. It is wound over here and goes back to the earth, that is ground. Okay. So if this is on, it makes this pole north, and it is wound counterclockwise in this one, so that it makes south. This pole becomes south and it is grounded. So A makes this one north and this one south. Got it? What about A bar? A bar will make this one north and this one as south pole. This one as north pole, this one as south pole. And similar is the arrangement for B and B bar, that is related to these two poles. B will make this north, this south. B bar will make this one north and this south. Now what we can do with this? Let us say you have a stepper motor with 4 different poles. Okay. and this is a rotor which is nothing but a permanent magnet rotor with one side as north, another side as south. Okay, so north pole will always move towards the south pole and south will go to the north pole. Quite clear? So this is a type of motor which is known as unipolar stepper motor. How does it look like? I will again switch on my camera here. So it looks like this. It looks like this. Got it? Yes. So let me show you this one. So what do you see here? This is the motor with how many wires? It has red wire. It has a red wire. It has a brown wire. Brown wire. It has a orange one. It has a black one and yellow one. So it has 5 number of wires. So that means it is unipolar motor. What is unipolar? And bipolar is also there. I'll talk about that also. So 4 plus 1 wire, that makes is a unipolar motor. How? I'll tell you how to identify this type of motor, how to drive it. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you have A common and B common. These two are combined together and you get to see that is the black wire, that is what is earthing wire, that is the negative wire. Okay, that makes you it sync. Okay, so 5 wires. So this motor, the one which I have it in hand now, is a unipolar motor which has 5 wire. You also can have a unipolar motor like this. How many wires it has? It has total 6 wire. It has 2 green, 1 blue, 1 yellow, white and red. So 4 for the poles, 4 wire for the poles and 2 A and B common. A common and B common. So both are same, both are earth wire, that is ground wire, zero potential wire. So it has 4 wire plus 2 wire. So this also is a unipolar motor. Okay, so we'll talk about bipolar later, but for the time being we'll stick to this one, how it works. So what I will do, I'll energize one by one and you can understand of your own how it is working. Okay, so let me run this. Okay, let me run this. At this moment, what you see, this is north pole which is attracted towards south pole and these two are high. Okay, these two are, that means A and B both are high. A is high, B is high. That makes these two poles which are red in color over here as north pole, that attracts the south pole, and the opposite one will automatically become the opposite poles. So over here it is south pole colored in blue color, so north pole will go here. Okay, so armature is stationary, it remains over here as long as A and B is like this, as long as A and B is like this. Got it? Next step, what I'll do, I'll take it to the next step now. Okay, what has happened? I have moved to the next location. Next location, what is there? I have switched off A, I have left only B as high. Only this transistor is on, that makes this one as north pole, this as south pole. Armature has gone from this position to this position. Okay, this position to this position. Is it clear? Got it? So it was at this location, now it is at this location. What I have done, I have just switched off A and left B as it is. Armature turns to 45 degrees. In next stage, what I will do, I will make B and A bar high. So I have made this high and this high. This time what will happen? Armature has further turned by 45 degree in clockwise manner. Got it? In clockwise manner. So this is high, this is high, these two are low, armature turns by 45 degree. Next, you just leave A bar high and armature comes to this position. Got it? Now you must have got the idea what I am going to do. A, B high, only B high, B, A bar high, only A bar high, then B bar, A bar and B bar high, only B bar high. So this is what is the sequence. So that makes this rotating. Got it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and back to this 8th position. Got it? So 1, this is the first one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 steps, it makes one full rotation. 4 poles, there are 4 poles. So what we have done here, this type of running is known as half step running. Half step running. Why it is half step? You saw 2 of them are high and then 1 is high. 2 of them are high, then 1 is high. One by one you keep doing that. So instead of moving from pole to pole, where it is moving from pole to in between, pole, in between, pole, in between, pole, in between and pole. So that makes one full revolution. So number of poles, it increases by 2 times over here. So number of steps is more than number of poles. So this type of running is more precise. It can run in smaller steps, but yes, they don't have uniform torque. In one state you got 2 poles which is pulling this armature. In other state you have just one of them which is pulling. Is it not? Got it? So that is why the pulse which are appearing at A bar, B bar, that keeps on changing and that governs the direction of rotation. That governs the direction of rotation. So it can go this way, this is clockwise. If I make it like this, it rotates in anti-clockwise direction. Is it not? So pulse appearing at these switches governs the direction of rotation. Speed of pulse. Speed of pulse means number of pulse per unit time. That governs the speed of this armature. So you can control the speed, you can control the direction, both using these two. So you can control the speed, you can control the direction. What else do you want? Right? And they automatically goes to a specific position. So if you know your stepper motor has 1.5 degree per step, that means if at all you put 4 number of pulses, that means it will go to 1.5 into 4 times the angle. So that is 6 degrees it will rotate, right? So it will rotate by 6 degrees. And if at all we are moving in half step, then 4 consecutive steps will take it to 3 degrees only. So this type of running is half step running. So what is full step running? In full step running, these intermediate steps are thrown off. You just can have this, then sorry, yes, this, this and this. Only 4 steps are required. So at a time 2 of them are energized, and this type of running you see uniform torque throughout the rotation. This will have uniform torque throughout the rotation. Got it? Not like one pole, two pole, one pole, two pole. Torque was fluctuating. So that is the weakness of running in unipolar single half step running. Yes, half step running. So it has a varying torque, but yes, it is more precise. It is more precise. So that is the beauty. This is what is this? This is simple A bar, B bar. So This also shows the step. So it is 1 1, then 1, it shifts to B A bar 1 1 1 1 1 1, and it goes back to this. So this is how it is moving. So this is what. So you have to reverse the step. If you want to rotate it in opposite direction, you have to make it go like this. Otherwise, you have to make it go. Got it? So this is what is reversing the direction. So direction can be reversed and position can be precisely obtained. That depends on number of steps that you have fed, and um torque you cannot control. Torque depends, because whenever it will be there, it is there, and that is always high or low. If it is high, it is high. It is not intermediate. You cannot control the torque in this type of motors. Okay. It can be done, but it is not advisable. You may lose the position in that case. Okay. So that is what is unipolar motor. You just control one of the pole. You don't control the other one. Other one is automatic. If this is north, other one is automatically south. Okay. So what you feel in this type of motor, each pole has got two windings. One is clockwise, another one is anti-clockwise, and one of them is always idle. So that is what is making this type of motor little heavier in construction. Why it is heavier? Because there are dummy coil, 50% of coil which is always dummy coil. Okay, that is not always working. So power by weight ratio of this type of motor is little poor. So it has 5 or 6 number of wires, 1 or 2 for common, and 4 phase wire. 4 phase wires are there. They expect these signals. Got it? And 30% less torque as compared to bipolar stepper. We'll talk about bipolar stepper next. Then operation can be in half step, full step, and micro step also. We'll talk about micro stepping also. What you have done here, you have shifted the pole from this to this to this to this and so on so forth. That is how you made it run. You can gradually shift the pole. That is what you can do. You can control the current so that your pole shifts from this to this. Resultant pole shifts from this. This is high, this is low. It can go like high, partially high, this is partially low, and gradually you can make it fully high and this is fully low. So your pole shift can happen. So that is what you can gradually shift your pole from one to the other one. From this to this, you can gradually shift. Instead of just switching this high or this high, you are gradually shifting the pole from this to this. So that will make this armature rotate in a very uniform manner. So that is how micro stepping works. So industrial drivers, they support micro stepping also, but in standard printer, fax, robotics, you don't use micro stepping. Okay. Standard driver for this, which has 4 or 8 or 9 number of this type of gates, it is there in ULN 2003 or 2803, which has 7 number of Darlington transistor arrays. You have 2 transistor one after the other, that is making 1 to 1. Earlier what you saw in case of transistor switching, it was 1 to 0. If at all 2 of them are connected in series, it will transfer 1 to 1. So that is what is known as Darlington transistor array. So ULN 2003 has 7 Darlington array transistors. Okay, that means 7 switches are there. You have 7 switches. So how many motors you can run? With 7 you can run just one of them, because this requires 4 number of switches. So you can run just 4 of them. Sorry, just one stepper motor. Whereas 2803 has 8 Darlington array transistors. So 2803 ULN 2803 can run 2 such motors. 2 unipolar stepper motor can run with this. Okay, so this is all about unipolar stepper motor. This is how it works. It has 4 number of wires. You have to shift the pole. One of the pole will make other one opposite pole always. Each one of them has 2 windings, one to make it north, other one to make it south. Okay, if this is north, opposite one will always be south. Got it? So what you need a earth which is always protruding out of the motor. So it will have 5 or 6 number of wires. Okay, why they have not connected A and B? Because in order to support the current which is flowing out, if you have 2 inputs, it should have at least 2 outputs. Why? Because you have to pass on that current. You cannot take current out only from one. So that becomes the bottleneck for your maximum current that can flow through this motor. So that is why you need to have 2 different low also. Both of them are connected simultaneously to the ground potential, zero potential. But yes, there are 2 number of wires. That is the reason. Okay. So this is unipolar motor. Now let us go to how it is connected. This is very interesting. You must be waiting for this moment when you can run a motor with a standard Arduino board. So this has got, this is ULN2003 which is shown here, ULN2003. It has 4 number of digital inputs that is connected to 4 number of pulse output which has high voltage pulse. Okay, and one for the last one which is for the ground. Okay, so 5 wire stepper motor is shown over here, 5 wired stepper motor. So one is ground, 4 is phase. So 4 phase can be driven directly by this Arduino board, and this also requires a logic 5 volt. So that 5 volt can be transferred from your board itself. Okay, so this is what is a standard board which is available in different robotics, online robotics shops also. So this is nothing but a driver which is shown here with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wires. So this connects to the stepper motor which is shown here. Okay, stepper motor, and then it has 4 phase, one is voltage, another one is ground. Okay, so this is the physical thing, and this is the chip. ULN2803 is shown here, but over here it is 2003. 2803, you see it has more number of pins, so it can control 2 stepper motor at a time. Okay, this is a physical stepper motor. How does it look like? This is just a figure of that. So I hope it is quite clear now. You can run this type of motor. Okay, if at all we get time, we'll show you how it runs actually. So unipolar is clear, bipolar is very, very easy. Now I am going to this one. Hope you now remember how your H-bridge drivers work. Okay, so it was like this. Okay, you can do this. You remember? You remember this? So you can switch on and off two diagonally opposite switches, and you can do what? You can do switching. That means you can reverse the current flowing through this particular motor. So instead of motor, now what I have done, you have a motor, over here which is nothing but a, I'll show you a bipolar stepper motor now if I have one. Yes, this one. This is very, very popular stepper motor. You might have seen it quite number of times. How many wire does it have? It has 4 wires. You see, it has ground, no ground. It has 4 wires. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Red, green, violet, and black wire. Okay, it can be differently colored, but it has just 4 wires in it. Okay, so now how we can make it run? By looking at it, I see, yes, it is nothing but a bipolar stepper motor. How I can say that so easily? You see what it is happening here. Let me stop this and take it to one of the end. So you have a wire that is from here, it starts. Okay, it goes to this one. Okay, and it goes directly to the other one, and it comes back to the negative, that is A bar. So if current flows in a clockwise manner, it makes this positive and this negative, or this one north, this one south. If I reverse the polarity, what happens? This becomes north and this becomes south. Got it? So by reversing the polarity, you can change the pole. So instead of running it the otherwise, instead of having a fifth wire which is ground and having just 4 switches, over here you have H bridges. And how many transistors? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you have 2 pair of poles, 4 total poles, so what is there? You need to have 1 H bridge and 2 H bridge. So A bar is connecting these two poles, B bar is connecting these two poles. So now how it will run? Okay. So what I have done, I have switched this off. So you have clockwise current flowing through this. So it is making this one north, this one south. Next stage, both our H bridges are on, but this time A bar is high. A bar is high, so it makes this one north, this one south. Next, so I have maintained this, just switched it off like this, like this. So what you can do now, you can reverse the polarity and make the poles opposite. So this is another way of making poles opposite, okay, by changing the direction of current which is there. But in order to change the direction, you need 8 transistor. It was just 4 in case of unipolar motor. In this one, you need 2 H bridges and 8 transistors. So the driving circuitry is complex, but yes, these motors are very compact in nature. It can generate more torque with the same size. Why? There is no idle coils. There is no idle coils. Got it? Just a sec. Okay. So there is no idle coils. So that is what makes this little more powerful. Okay, with the same current, because it has more number of coil which is there in individual pole, so it will create more torque per pole because there is no dummy coil. So that is why the smaller they are smaller and compact in size with high power to weight ratio. With the same weight of motor, if you have unipolar and bipolar, this will create more torque, that is power which is coming as output. Again, direction can be changed by just changing the pulse sequence. Got it? You can change the direction. Got it? And higher is the pulse, tuck, 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 tuck. So higher is the pulse per second. Higher is the speed. So you can control the speed and you can also control the direction. Got it? Again, you cannot control the torque in this one. Torque is maximum. You can run in half step and full step both. Okay, so if you skip this off states of these, it becomes full step and torque will be more uniform, but yes, it will less precise. You will move pole to pole. So whatever is the angle between two poles, that will be the angle this rotates per unit step. Got it? So this is what is a bipolar motor driving. It has 4 wires for 2 reversing phases. You have to reverse the phases, reverse the polarity to make it north and south. Got it? Then less winding wires which save space and the cost. So they are inexpensive, cheaper as compared to unipolar motor. Got it? And that is the reason why these motors are most widely used in robotics. They have less number of wires. Driving circuit is complex, no doubt about it. But that comes in a single chip anyway. If you buy a 2803-2003 or you use L298 for this, both are of same size. So size wise and relatively the cost is not much of a difference. So where you can save is the save on space, save on cost, and you get more power in turn. So that is why bipolar motor, this square caged motor, are more popular. Got it? Operation can be half step, full step, and micro stepping also can be done. And drivers are standard L293 or 298. 293 is run maximum is 1 ampere, 298 can be 4 ampere. Dual full H bridge driver is required. L298 is dual full H bridge driver. So that means L298 has two H bridge driver, so it can run just one bipolar motor. One bipolar motor. Same for L293D. Okay. So that is how a bipolar motor runs. Got it? Hope it is quite clear so far, and the driving is very simple again. This is Arduino. You have four phase wires. You have four phase wires which are, so this is H bridge L298 which is normally meant to run what? A standard DC motor. I have shown you this particular board in last class. This is L298 driver board. Very common, widely available on online shops. Okay. So this L298 driver is meant to run two DC motors. Now this and this together is going to run a bipolar stepper motor which has four input wires. This is the input voltage. This chip look like this, motor look like this. It has just four wires as an input. So this is how it can be connected. I will circulate you this slide. It becomes very easy while you have, if you have this type of system in hand. Got it? But you will have to do programming. Programming, how to do switching means you have to create a logic so that you can change the polarity accordingly. Got it? So that logic is there. There are ready-made libraries which are available for those who are not good in programming. They can download these libraries directly and use L298 to directly drive this H-bridge, this type of motors, bipolar stepper motors. You can buy a unipolar one if you want to be very simple in your approach. Got it? So this type of drivers are also available. Now talking about micro stepping. What it does, as I have told, this also is 2H bridge driver, but this time you will gradually shift your pole from this to this, from this to this. Got it? So you will gradually shift your pole from here to here so that your armature moves gradually. Tick, 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 tick. I think this is quite popularly used in watches these days. Digital watches these days are can move very smoothly. Earlier it was tuck, 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 tuck. Digital watches used to run stepwise. Now they are moving like this. I think it is micro stepping which is done nowadays. Okay. So it uses digital to analog converter to shift the pole from this to this. Digital to analog converter and current chopper drive. You have to control the current. Higher is the current, higher is the field. So you have to shift the pole. So you have to shift the current 100% from this to 100% to this, so that armature moves gradually from this to this and further. Okay. So it is a current chopper drive which is used. Reduced step size also reduces the resonant behavior. What is resonant behavior? Stepper motors, they run abruptly, okay, tuck, 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 and so on, so forth. So what wrong can happen if your equipment, it has its own natural frequency. If that frequency matches with the step frequency, it becomes resonant. So you see a huge noise that will come out of it. If the equipment starts vibrating. So that resonant behavior can be reduced by using micro stepping motors. Or if at all you see some sort of higher jerk, you can try, if you don't have a micro stepping motor, you can try reducing or increasing the RPM of your motor by changing the pulse per unit time. Why? That will be less than your synchronous resonant speed or higher than your resonant speed. So you don't go to the resonant behavior of your equipment. So that is what is very much advisable while using stepper motors with any machinery. Quieter and continuous in nature, and at extremely slow speed you can run this one. Most effective stepper control with slightly higher cost. higher is the cost. Why? Because you have complex circuitry which is here, which is a digital to analog converter. Okay, and if at all you want to buy such micro stepping, you should ask, yes, how many bits controller it has. If it is 2-bit, 3-bit, 4-bit, okay, that will govern the digital to analog converter step size. So higher is the digital to analog converter bits, higher is the intermediate steps that you can get. Got it? So this type of step operation can happen. Current in A and current in B, you see it gradually is reduced to 0 and then it comes up. So this should happen in a sinusoidal manner. So that is how it works. So in order to get very much in detail how this type of motor works, I have put a link over here in this slide. I'll give you this link also while I'll share my this slides to you. Okay, this web page is from a nanotech company which is a maker of stepper motor, who has very good tutorials online. The videos are available. It has a very good JS script which allows you control the speed and all. Okay, so all the this figure is from that particular site. That is why I acknowledge this. Okay, so this is how it looked like. Nowadays, you must be thinking, what if I want to use a stepper motor? Do I need to control 4 independent wires? No. Nowadays, drivers are becoming very inexpensive and smaller and very simple also. Got it? So look at this figure. It has no wires, okay, very less number of wires. Yes, you don't have to control 4 wires which are there. Earlier you had 4 wires, this time you have just 2 wires which are control wires, and one of them is ground, that is always there. That is to have a same reference for this board and you, okay, your controller board. So this time you have just 2 wires, and you know what it does. These 2 wires, one is there to for steps. If you give one pulse high, it moves by one step. Another pulse high, it moves to another step. So if you just have to create a PWM, a square wave signal, high, low, high, low, high, low. So number of pulse you give, number of steps it will run. Very easy. Then how to change the direction? You don't have to reverse the pulse. There is a bit wire, that is the direction input wire. If that is high, motor runs in clockwise. If this is low, motor runs anti-clockwise. You don't have to do anything. So you just have to switch on and off one of the wire, that is the green wire, to change the speed. Okay, and there is direction input wire. So does just 2 control wires can control the motor, and that too bipolar stepper motor. Okay, so this is what is the latest driver which are available. There are many similar one, not just the easy driver version 4.4. There are many similar ones which are available. Most of them they use similar chip or the same chip. Okay, so that's all. I think there are many other input and output. There is one called reset, which can reset your position, or your counter gets reset. Motor coil connections which are here, and the right side what you see, this bigger one, this type of driver is there which is used in industry. This is for micro stepping. This also supports micro stepping, and there are advanced means of communication which is there. It can run on Modbus, it can run on Profibus, Ethercat. There are different modes of communication which this type of driver supports, and they are rated to 24 volt as a logic signal. So they can be switched by PLCs also, not necessarily a microcontroller or a board like this. It can run with PLC. It can control higher rated motors. Sometimes it can go as high as 110 or 220 volt stepper motors. Okay. Commercially stepper motors, these two are the ones which are very simple and widely used. I would suggest you go for this. If at all you want to use for one, the things which I have discussed are mostly for theoretical purpose, how you can drive from the scratch using L293DE or ULN2003. Got it? In order to understand the principle what is lying, but professionally you can go for this, and you don't need any library to run this. Okay, so your code can be more simpler if you use this type of board, and cost wise it is hardly any difference, 20, 30 rupees you can see. Okay, so I think that's all for today. I am open for any question now.